Hello, welcome to the Lesedi Life podcast. I am Lesedi Ali. I'm a spiritual life coach and psychic advisor, and I have a great topic for us today to discuss. We've already gone through Healing the Heart 1, Healing the Heart 2, and this is Healing the Heart 3. I have notes, y'all, because life has been lifing, and my ADHD mommy brain is just all over the place. So you're gonna help me, help you, help me, and let me use my bullet points, okay? This is me preparing. In any case, with Healing the Heart, we want to specifically focus on relationships. This is the relationships edition, okay? We're looking at healing from relationships or healing after relationships. And this is a big one because in a lot of cases, we find ourselves in relationships that are less fulfilling than we would like, right? Or we find ourselves in relationships that are not giving to us the way we're giving to them. Or we end up judging that person, or we feel judged. We don't communicate the way we want to communicate with our authentic voice and our truth and what's really going on in our minds, for a number of reasons, right? So it's important to look at the Healing the Heart in relationships, because the first bullet point is the law of reflection, or the law of mirror, right? Mirrors or mirroring. And the reason this law is so important is because literally everything you see, everything you experience is a direct reflection of what's going on in here, right? So you're not in any relationship with anyone but you. Family, loved ones, jobs included. You are not in any kind of relationship with anyone but you. Now, bear with me here. If you are finding yourself in relationship after relationship where you're not feeling heard, think about it for a second. Do you listen to your own internal compass and voice and move accordingly? Or do you second guess yourself, question yourself, and go with what the other person said? Do you find yourself in relationships where you feel like you're giving to them more than they're giving to you? Do you buy yourself things? Do you have buyer's remorse immediately after you purchase something for yourself? Do you find yourself giving everyone the time of day, but you don't know how to rest and relax for yourself? Everyone gets a yes from you, but you tell yourself no consistently. I'll give you one more. Oh, this is a good one. You feel like your partner's not listening to you. You feel like whenever you talk to people, they misunderstand you, and they don't get it, right? Do you listen to you? Do you actually take time with yourself, by yourself, and enjoy your own company and think about the thoughts that make you move the way you move and act the way you act and speak the way you speak, and say, okay, I really like this about myself, or we could tweak that, and just really having these inner dialogues that make you feel closer to you, right? Sip some tea on that one. It's actually coffee. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it's coffee. So it's important that before we go pointing the finger and trying to judge and ask and find out what's going on with the other person in these relationships, that we actually stop and we find out what's going on with us. If you're finding that you're easily triggered at work, like they're just always ticking you off, always getting on your nerves, maybe it's trying to tell you something. Maybe you're not listening to yourself about not liking the job to begin with, or that you just don't belong there because you belong doing something else, and your inner voice is like, please get us out of here. Right? So literally everything going on the outside is a reflection of you. You're not in any relationship with anyone but you, my love, my darling. So the question I like to ask myself whenever this comes about is, what can I do differently? And that's a hard one in relationships, isn't it? Because we want them to change. We want them to listen to us. We want them to do better. We want them to pick up after themselves. We want them to take on some of the burden. We want them to be responsible. We want them, right? So instead of trying to change them and clean them up, why don't I start with me, right? Am I holding myself accountable in all the areas that I ought to? When it comes to the home, when it comes to me, when it comes to my children, when it comes to the bills, like, am I doing everything in my power to be accountable and present and available where, the attention is needed, right? And wherever I find that I'm lacking, I'm going to go ahead and do better in those areas, right? I'm going to be the person to them that I want them to be to me, not out of, spite, not out of, I have to prove myself to them, right? But it's merely just for the sake of saying, okay, I know, or I can see what the deficit is here. Let me be the change that I want to see in my reality, and let's see what happens. One of two things will always happen, and this is heartbreaking. This is so heartbreaking because it is so real. The person will either change or they will leave. They will change or you will separate. They will change or an argument will happen that is just so bad, so big, or a mistake, or just something that is just unforgivable. You can never see them the same again. But that cord is cut. That tie is severed. And thus you bow down in grace and you release it with love and you move on, you move forward. It's heartbreaking, I say, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, having to let go of something or someone that I put so much time, energy, and effort into sucks. I am a Capricorn. I don't believe in failure. I don't believe in quitting. I believe in making it work and figuring it out, especially with the people that I love. When I love you, your woes are my woes, your cares are my cares, your goals are my goals, and I just want you to be the best version of you could possibly be. I've been this person as long as I can remember, and I don't know how to be anything or anyone else. So if you're anything like me, it's best that you take the out and you allow the relationship to end if it is time to end. Otherwise, you find yourself in more pain, in more turmoil, in more arguments, and just losing yourself to something that wasn't even yours to begin with. Because if you're giving your best version of yourself and they honestly are giving their best version of themselves, that's just incompatibility. You're not compatible. And that's okay. It's okay, right? We don't have to blame them. We don't have to shame them. We don't have to fault them. None of that. Not even ourselves. Oh my God. Oh, how many times, please tell me how many times you've faulted yourself for the relationship not going the way you thought it ought to. I could have done something differently, and I could have this and I could have that, and what if I'm this and what if I'm not? And you're comparing yourself and you're all this. Does that even feel good to your body? No. So clearly it's not correct. Just saying, just throwing that out there, okay? Now that brings me to my next bullet point, which is let go of the offense. Forgive. Because whatever they've done to offend you, especially if they've repeatedly offended you, and you told them, hey, this offends me, hey, I don't like this, but they keep doing it. I mean, you can beg to differ, but I genuinely like to believe that most people aren't a-holes. I genuinely like to believe that the God in all of us wants to see the other person happy, right? But I just got this thing inside me that I am this way and I'm keep trying to change it and I'm having a hard time changing it. And, for whatever reason, it is there. It is what it is. My intention is not to hurt you. My intention is not to, make you feel less than. My intention is to love you, and my intention is to move forward in a good relationship. But I right? Like, that's most likely what they're feeling or thinking, because I've been there. Usually I'm freaking awesome in relationships, but I'm just saying, there's been a time or two where I'm just like, I don't know how to be anything more than what I'm being, and I'm sorry I can't be more. Maybe this isn't working. It's just not right. Again, incompatibility. They're not a terrible person because they don't know how to clean up after themselves and that's something that you value. They're not the worst of the worst because you value transparency over truth and they really don't care for either. They just want to be free. They're more liberal in their relationships, or whatever's going on in their minds and their schemas that makes them the way that they are and what makes you the way that you are, right? Forgive the offense. Forgive whatever happened and let it go. Move forward. Because I can promise you, the teaching is the teaching and it will always remain the teaching. You forgive for you, not the other person. I can tell you to this day, I have to re-forgive my children's fathers. I have to re-forgive myself for those relationships and the parts of them when I know I could have and should have done differently. I have to re-forgive myself for letting go of maybe an opportunity that I feel like would have been so much different at this time in my life. And I have to re-forgive so many other things when it comes to family or just the timing in certain things, right? And you're not forgiving them because it was wrong. You're forgiving them because you feel bad and you're carrying around this thing that doesn't even serve you, So it's more like letting go. That's the better phrase, is let it go. Let that shit go. It doesn't serve you. There's no business being in your energy and orbiting your life. Again, does it make your body feel good? No, it doesn't. Let it go. Put it down. Okay, put it down. And that brings me into our next topic, or our next point in the topic, and that's accepting the lesson learned, okay? Oof. Because see, when we have to put down a particular idea, right, or we have to put down a burden, or we have to put down the relationship, we have to pick up the things out of that bag that actually served us, okay? And I say this because everything is ordered just so by the Most High God. There is a creator that feeds the birds in the air and counts the blades of grass and knows everything about everything, which is how we can tap into source and know the things that we know just because we know them, right? It's because of this interconnectedness that we have and that we all are. So nothing is by coincidence or happenstance, right? And just because something wasn't good for all involved, right, doesn't mean that you have to be in a deficit. Not at all. It means that you're going to take up out of it. Is somebody here? Okay. You're going to take up out of that situation, that argument, that time at that job, that time in that apartment or home, that time in that neighborhood, that time with those people. You're going to take up out of there all the little nuggets you got and all the little encouragement you got and all the lessons and all of this, all of that, right? And you apply it to what is beneficial to you, right? In a lot of my relationships, I learned what I don't like. But I also learned what I do like. Yeah? When it comes to work, I learned what I do not want, what I will not stand for, but also what I really, really want and what I will fight for. Right? It's all information. And when you can leave it at that, accept it as that, you might as well be 10 pounds lighter. You really do feel like doing cartwheels and backflips and jumps, and you feel grateful and gratitude and excitement and joy and optimism. You feel all those things because you're not weighing yourself down about what could have been. If it could have been, it would have been, is what my guides like to tell me about. Shut up! Don't wear that. Shut up. No. If it could have been, it would have been. So stop. Yeah? The next bullet point I want to go into is doing something to celebrate and remember, okay? You ever realize that whenever you feel something bad, like I was just saying, you feel it in your body. Whenever you feel something good, you feel it in your body. You may not always remember how someone spoke to you or what they said, but you remember how they made you feel. You may not always remember a specific time in your life, but certain music, certain events around that time or that season make you feel good or make you feel bad depending on what you remember most about that time. It's in your body, it's memory, it's stored, right? So something that I personally like to do that I would love to pass on to you is to celebrate. Celebrate the ending of the relationship. Celebrate the ending of the job. Celebrate the ending of the season. Celebrate it, because it's a time in your life that you will never have again. That's one. I'm more than positive that if you sit down long enough and you just breathe and you sit with self, you'll find so much that you did not know or could not accept or recognize before. I think one of the biggest lessons I got from my last relationship was that I kept bumping my head with this one principle, because I had refused to see it. I wasn't ready to see it 5 years ago. I wasn't ready to see it 10 years ago. I wasn't ready to see it 20 years ago. I wasn't ready. But now I'm ready, and I can handle it, and I can do what needs to be done inside, the internal work, to never have to experience that again. And that's a win. That's a win. Like, these are happy tears because I remember how hard it was, and I remember how I thought about myself, and I remember the situations I put myself in, and I remember the boundaries that I didn't have, and I remember the situations that they put me in, the situations that I put me in, because I didn't want to accept this thing about myself. Because see, once you accept something about yourself, then you're able to change it, or you're able to amplify it to benefit you, right? We're all made a specific way, in a certain way, to get us through and to get us to what we've come here to do, right? So your biggest flaws and mess-ups and issues, they are directly connected to the divine you that is here to do something amazing. Yeah. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. So celebrate when these things end. Celebrate when you let them go. And this way you have something to strive forward with and to move forward in. Like, I will never, ever, ever, ever compromise on my boundaries again. Like, that feels good. That feels good for somebody who likes boundaries like their entire life. That's a win, okay? It's like passing a test. I don't know about you, but I was a freaking nerd. Like, I'm still a nerd. I love to get an A, okay? I love my little check marks. I love my 100%. Like, okay? Whatever you can attribute this to for you, like, what is that thing that fills you up when you know you did it right and you know you did a good job? You've got all of the ancestral plane and your guardian angels and the Most High God just for you, because you learned the lesson. You got the blessing in the lesson. And we get to move on to bigger and better things instead of being stuck on a plateau for another year, for another season, keeping us from our greatest potential. You with me? Yeah? Let me know what you're going to be celebrating in the comments. I want to know. Let me know what you're celebrating. Okay? Now, moving forward is the goal, right? So moving forward energy is everything. It doesn't lie. Oh, okay. I get that note now. I'm like, what am I saying here? I have to ask myself, what am I saying? Okay, so moving forward in your journey, moving forward in your relationships, right? Whether, again, friend, family, work, romantic. Know that when you see this thing and you feel this feeling and it feels like before, what you learned already, that's an easy A. Oh, I'm not even going down that road. Thank you so much. See you later. Actually won't. Okay? When you see this thing and you feel this feeling that felt like before, that looked like before, don't waste any time on it, okay? Allow yourself to accept it for what it is and to move forward. I don't care about all this rhetoric and all these conversations like, oh, and you just judging them off the last little person. You just judging them off the last relationship. You just judging. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay? I am judge, jury, and executioner in my own reality. I am player one. Okay, and player one knows this game very well. I don't need to be sitting here eating a side salad when I know dang well I want me a full course meal. Get out my way. Get out my way. Okay? Because then you get closer and closer and closer into the all that is all you are meant to experience, that is all that is meant for you, right? Because you're not wasting your time second guessing yourself about something you already know, pushing down your feelings about something you've already got intuition about, talking yourself out of, I already know I'm supposed to go left. Why in the heck am I going right? Aren't you tired of that? You gotta be. You gotta be. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Are you ready to date a better version of yourself? Are you ready to have friends and family that actually support you with actions instead of just words? Are you truly ready for that? It's not the fear of failure most times that stop us from our greatest potential. It's the fear of success. Within you, you feel, you know that you are meant to be loved and nurtured and supported and cared for in just this grand way, right? And time after time after time, you were put in situations that let you feel the exact opposite. Why would God do that? Why would God do that? Like, it's not fair. It doesn't feel right. Without understanding the dark, you will never fully experience the light. So I ask you again, are you ready to have relationships with better versions of you? If so, do the work. Just do the work. And if you need help, that's what I'm here for. Do what you need to do to contact me, to connect with me. You'll find all my links, okay? You know what? I'll do you one better. Comment ready. If you just comment ready, I'll get back to you myself. And we'll tackle this thing together. Okay? I love you. Thank you so much for joining the Lesedi Life podcast for this amazing episode today. If you found this helpful or beneficial in any way, please share it with a friend, a family member, someone you care about. Just share it. That's just a little button, okay? Make sure you hit the bell for your notifications. Please get my book, all right? I've got some great children's books that I just released, and I've got some new stuff coming out very soon. Get connected with me on Amazon, all right? My author page, Dejana Joy. And you'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Lots of encouragement, tons of engagement. I love you. Thank you again. Namaste.